largest protest sign, and some friends of mine. It's Rhyme and Reason 861. Here's your Rhyme and Reason. Oh, yeah. Hey there, Tony here, and I'm going to talk a little bit about something that happened 15 years ago, right around this time of year. Some friends of mine attempted to put together and display the largest protest sign ever. And I say they attempted to do that. That's how they were going into it. Let's attempt to put together the largest protest sign ever and show it. So they did attempt it and actually did do it. And the event took place in Golden, Colorado, which is near Denver. Matter of fact, you can go up the mountainside in a couple of places there next to Golden and look back and see Denver. And they sent a message to the Democratic National Convention that was being held in the city that year. That was 2008. And according to the Guinness Book of World Records, they succeeded. So that was pretty cool. And according to American Right to Life, an abortion abolition organization, the sign, quote, weighs more than 2,700 pounds and was sewed together with more than 4 miles of seams connecting 2,400 sheets. That's 2,400 sheets. And they backpacked onto location and unfurled by 44 letter carriers with spotters a mile away to ensure proper letter placement, end quote. And the group added, for anyone concerned about environmental impact, after 3 hours, ARTL removed the DNC sheets of shame and left the area cleaner than it had been. And I can attest to that because I saw it. Now, the largest protest sign ever was, to quote them, 530 foot tall and 666 foot wide. And the width wasn't accidental. If you weren't there or you've never seen the sign, you ought to check out the music video link at tonyfunderburk.com / wait for it, largest protest sign. Go there and you'll see the video. That is something I took that day, and it actually ended up being kind of a blurred video in parts of it. It was a camera that I used at the time, a video camera that I used at the time that didn't have, it was a really snazzy one, but it didn't even have the abilities that just my iPhone in my pocket does now, strangely enough. Anyway, let me get back to the protesters. Most of those, well, I don't know if I could say most, but many of the protesters and the workers that day, they were actually friends of mine. And I was juggling 3 jobs at the time, was only able to make it to the mountainside with my camera as they were actually coming back down from putting the sign up there. And that higher elevation in Colorado can really tax your breathing, but everybody was walking back with... They were coming back down from the mountain with smiles on their faces, and they were praising God. Some of them even singing. It was really pretty cool. They didn't look like a bunch of tired, worn-out people who had just done some laborious task and, they were just beat up. No, not at all. They were happy. And at that time in history, abortion had already claimed the lives of at least 40 million Americans. Yeah, and that's just Americans, so it claimed a lot more than that worldwide. Sadly, many millions more have been murdered in the 15 years since then. And that's despite the efforts of most pro-life organizations to establish, market, and support abortion regulation. That's a horrible plan. And it's got obviously horrible results since then. Now, I saw a meme that drove home that point. It had a picture from sometime in the 1850s, I think, of a slave with chains on his neck. And the text that went with the picture said that he was not a person. Next to that person was one of an unborn baby. And the text that went with it said, and now this isn't a person either. And you and I and every other person who has ever lived on this beautiful blue planet we call Earth, we're all human beings. We're people, persons. not so-called viable persons or not, and not self-sustaining persons or not, just persons made in God's image and likeness. And even if the largest protest sign ever didn't stop the killing, every person has equal value and a right to life.
When tiny seeds take root in tiny eggs, then you get tiny eyes, ears, arms, and legs. Then tiny babies form inside their mother's womb, and then the human life begins to bloom. I was an unborn child until the day I was born. I lived inside my mom until the cord was torn. Then I began to grow and grew up big and strong and learned to cherish life. And so I sing this song. Everyone has a right to life. It shouldn't end before it even starts. Everyone has a right to life. Your right is wrong when it stops innocent hearts. Everyone has a right to life. It shouldn't end before it even starts. Everyone has a right to life. Your right is wrong when it stops innocent hearts. Innocent hearts deserve a right to life. You're born and someone lets you live. You only take 'cause you're too small to give. But the joy a tiny baby brings is way beyond all those other things. So give yourself some room to think about what your right might do. Who you're leaving out, put yourself right there in that baby's place. Either way you choose, you'll see a baby's face. Everyone has a right to life. It shouldn't end before it even starts. Everyone has a right to life. Your right is wrong when it stops innocent hearts. Everyone has a right to life. It shouldn't end before it even starts. Everyone has a right to life. Your right is wrong when it stops innocent hearts. Innocent hearts. Everyone has a right to life. It shouldn't end before it even starts. Everyone has a right to life. Your right is wrong when it stops innocent hearts. Everyone has a right to life. It shouldn't end before it even starts. Everyone has a right to life. Your right is wrong when it stops innocent hearts. Right to life, innocent hearts. Let's defend the innocent and life.
Yes, let's defend the innocent and life. You've got some life. I've got some life. We were given life. And unborn babies, preborn babies, babies in the womb are people. You and I were once right there where they are. We were in a womb and we could not sustain ourselves. And we were not so-called viable, but we were. We were viable because we were made in the image and likeness of God, and we had mothers who sustained us and took care of us and nurtured us into this world. Thank God for that. I appreciate you tuning in so much. And as always, this episode of Rhyme and Reason was brought to you by TonyFunderburk.com, where you can find all kinds of stuff that point to the idea that life has rhyme and reason because God made you.
There's a rhyme and reason.